Hello, this is Brian with Blastbeat ATX, aka Blastbeat Industries. Yeah, I'm still wearing my corn shirt, but this has been like my pajama shirt when I've gotten home from work this week, so get off my back. We're going to call today the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's Christmas Eve, so I got a Christmas present for you. We did the ugly first. Yeah, I'm wearing the same shirt 2 videos in a row. I got something really cool planned for tomorrow for your actual real Christmas present. I don't know if you're like my family. What we used to do is you could open one present on Christmas Eve and then everything else Christmas morning. So that's what we're doing here. You get one present tonight, and then we're doing something very cool tomorrow. So we discussed the shirt. That's the ugly. The bad, it's not bad. I'm not complaining. I just noticed something that I didn't go to business school. I don't have the answers and the magic algorithm, and I'm not Jim Cramer and buy Exxon stock if you please. I'm just a passionate collector with an internet connection, and I'm doing the best I can. I'm learning as I go. And part of the reason for me doing this channel, doing these videos, is we all learn together. I love to hear from y'all what y'all think, but oh my God, don't take what I say as the absolute God's honest truth in life. It's just the way I see things this moment. Any given moment when we're filming these things and recording it and documenting the journey, that's how I see it now. Like, this is what they call it, subject to change, right? I'll give you an example. I guess it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I do the weekly buy, sell, hold videos. And I said, buy LeBron James as the Laker. Yeah, we can abandon ship on that. The Lakers have definitely come back down to earth. The Milwaukee Bucks are the top team in the league. I think the Lakers and LeBron just got on a hot streak earlier in the year when, let's be honest, if you're an NBA fan, you know that the first half of the regular season doesn't mean a whole lot. Just get in the top 8, get to the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens. So let me take a sip of my tasty beverage here. Now, for your Christmas present. Your Christmas present is more fun stuff, much like Todd McFarlane is the greatest Spider-Man artist ever. Today, we're doing Jim Lee is the greatest X-Men artist ever. I'm going to hold him up like this. If you don't know the story of this X-Men, Jim Lee started, well, God, what was he? I think when he first started Marvel, he started on the Punisher War Journal, I believe, and then did a bunch of fill-in stuff, but made his name on the Uncanny X-Men. I think he drew that in like 89 and 90, at the tail end of the 80s. And so when he became a big deal, they gave him his own title, the No Adjective X-Men, right? And this is another one of those books that I think it sold millions and millions of copies. Look it up. I don't remember off the top of my head. But the big thing is this is one of the ones, I don't know if it was literally the first, but it was one of the first big attention getters of multiple covers and variant covers and all that. I think all said there are 6 different ones, and I don't have it. I just have this one. I got track down the other ones later. That's not the point. The point is, look at Jim Lee's artwork. He's like if I had to compare him, I'm a big music person, duh. And if I had to compare him to a band, I would compare him to Korn. Of It's a regular guy. That the long story short on Jim Lee is he comes from one of those like what they call helicopter parents, that school, or I'm going to kick your ass, one of those kind of families. And he was pre-med at Harvard. And he made a deal with his parents of give me 1 year to see if I can become a professional comic book artist. If I don't, I'll go to medical school and be a doctor. Well, guess what? The comic book thing worked out. But he's one of those guys that's like competitive in all things. So he's got to be the best, right? And when he came up with this crazy, super detailed style of artwork, especially back then in the early 90s, like it's like Korn. He did something new and everybody started ripping him off. It just everyone copied him left and right. Oh man, if I had to say when did that stuff end, it would be the rise of like what's that guy's name, Bruce Timm, that did the Batman animated series. And you see how like detailed the shading is and the inking, and there's tons of cross hatching. Like when that Batman the animated series style came in, all this went out. But he's still the master of this stuff, and he's currently the art director of DC. He's way up the totem pole at DC. and is basically a cover artist. He's so high up the chain of command that he can draw whatever he wants, and like he has the really good covers. I ought to dig some out. I'll do it later. But tonight we're gonna do the this is much like McFarlane in the No Adjective Spider-Man, the No Adjective X-Men. This was the last thing he did for Marvel, and bam, bounced to Image, and he was only at Image like 5 years, maybe six. 98, his studio, which started as Homage Studios, what a dumb name, became Wildstorm Studios, became Wildstorm Comics, became a subsidiary of Time Warner. You know, he wants to be the cog in the machine, and no problem. I think Gary Vee says that a lot. Of like, not everyone's cut out to be an entrepreneur and run their own show. Some people are better off being number 12 in a big organization than being number one in their own, you know? And he's one of those guys. So anyway, you've probably seen this one around a lot. We're going to flip through the other ones here. Now, I'll just wait till I get to it. There's one of these I'm missing. So, number 2, more Magneto. I get it sounds terrible, but it's true. You almost don't even need to read the story at all. Just bug out on the artwork. It's so great. And that's not easy to draw. I don't know how many of y'all have an artistic background. And by art, I don't mean artistic like I'm some hippie or something. I mean actually putting pen to paper. You know, you can draw, paint, sculpt, whatever. This is nuts. Team books are nuts. Rob Liefeld, when he created Deadpool, he said that was in response to McFarlane and Eric Larson doing Spider-Man, where they would, you know, draw 2 big giant circles for eyes, kind of draw the webs, and I'm done for the day. And then they call Rob Liefeld as, hey, you're still on X-Force, that team book with 10 characters? Ha ha, good luck being there all night. Jim Lee was up to the challenge. I don't think that stuff ever bothered him. Now, yeah, so we went 1, 2, 3, right? I'm missing number 4. You know why I'm missing number 4? Because that's the first appearance of Omega Red is number 4. And that's not a break the bank issue. I think it can be had for $5 or so. I just don't have it. You know, there's only so much time in the day. So that's on my list of eventually I'll get it. But in the meantime, Wolverine versus Omega Red. Look at that. Well, Sabretooth and Psylocke. And I guess that's Wolverine down there getting the crap kicked out of him, as was the style at the time. Ooh, more Wolverine. Because Wolverine figures prominently into the history of the Marvel Universe. Ooh, Bishop, Rogue, and Gambit. Oh, and Ghost Rider. Wolverine and Ghost Rider. I believe, don't quote me on this, I need to double check it. I think this was Jim Lee's last work for Marvel. And then he bounced with the 7 Founders, and then most every good artist Marvel had. And you know, for 25 years, it's been a constant problem for Marvel that it goes into the way those guys get paid and royalties and all that stuff. You start off in independent comics, and you're doing, you know, little, what do they call those things? They're like the half-size comics you make on a Xerox machine, you know, and you start doing those. You get a name for yourself, you know, on the internet and in the convention circuit, and then you break into one of the big companies, and you get on a big title like the X-Men or Spider-Man or Batman or something, and then you kind of halfway become famous, and then you bounce to Image, so you can do your own creator-owned title, and then you can sell off the movie rights and the foreign translations and blah, 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 but basically selling 10,000 copies of your own book at Image makes you the same amount of money as selling 50,000 copies at Marvel or DC. And until they come correct with the paychecks, I mean, it's been 25 years, no longer 25 years, however long ago 92 was to now, and they still don't have that problem under control. And they're going to keep losing their good artists generation after generation until they fix the problem. TV, you know, music industry, movies, y'all are in the same boat. It just kind of, it hits this stuff first. Because, hey, when you think about it, what is a comic book? If you ever heard of a storyboard in a movie, the way they lay out the scenes, this is the movie without the moving part, you know, the motion picture. This is just the picture. But this is the genesis of pretty much everything you've ever seen on TV. Not necessarily comic book. Well, yeah, I'd say most movies, one way or another, are based on comic books. I'll do a video in the future of the real origins of the Matrix. I mean, the Wachowskis really didn't create that. If they had created that, they would have done something of substance afterwards. Everything they've done since has been adaptations. They did what the god awful Speed Racer movie, the halfway decent V for Vendetta movie, that crazy Jupiter Rising thing. I don't know. Those guys are great technicians. They're awesome photographers. They're great stunt coordinators. They have an eye for visual flair. They're not writers. Kind of like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. If you honestly think they wrote Good Will Hunting, how come they never wrote another script? I've always been what's the word? Suspicious. Suspicious of them, definitely, but I've been of the opinion I think Gus Van Sant really wrote Good Will Hunting. But hey, I don't get any of that money, so it's not bothering me too much. Anyway, I hope you like Jim Lee is the greatest X-Men artist of all time. If you disagree and think it's someone else, I'd love to hear from you. I would love for everyone to hit that subscribe and like button. Get in touch with me if you got any questions, want to chat, anything. Hey, I'm up for it. So I'm Brian. This is Blastbeat ATX, aka Blastbeat Industries. I will see y'all later. Merry Christmas. Stay safe.